Well, we've already talked about the favorite video game question. I usually save that one towards the end, but we jumped in with Alice Madness
Actually, you know
Returns.
what?
So
I can go over a couple of my few more of my favorites. I've been playing a lot of Metal Hellsinger lately. That game is great. I'm not normally into rhythm games, but it's a shooter set to heavy metal. I'm in. I'm a huge Lorna Shore fan, and the DLC featured a song with the lead singer, so that's how I found out about it. And then I started playing it, and I'm like, oh, this is great. And then Carbine got me the full game, and I'm like, yes. I absolutely love that game. I'm trying to get 100% accuracy on this one song. I'll move on to the rest once I've mastered this one. But that's one of my all-time favorites that I keep going back to. If I want to just like chill out and do something mindless, I'll play Minecraft. Um, sometimes I'll go back and revisit the old school fighting games that I played when I was a kid, like like I mentioned, Mortal Kombat 2, but a huge Darkstalkers fan. I still Capcom, please, if you read this, can we please get a new Darkstalkers game? Stop teasing us by putting Morrigan and Felicia in other games. Just give us a new Darkstalkers game, please. Um, let's see. Death Stranding. Oh my god, I could go on for so long about Death Stranding. I absolutely love that game. That is the only game that has made me like ugly cry at the end of it. Like Ty walks in from work and he's like, "Are you okay?" No. I'm just sitting in the middle of our bed, ugly crying, and I've been ugly crying for like an hour. I just Stranding. Why are you crying? Because I just finished Death Stranding.
I felt that way when I played the Walking Dead game, the first one. But
Oh, that's a
man,
good one.
I really enjoyed it, except for the fact that your choices don't fucking matter. So it's like a good story,
They really don't.
but yeah, I prefer like the Until Dawn or like the Quarry and like those kind of games where like the choices really make a difference.
Yeah, I know so many people say, "Oh, Death Stranding is a walking simulator," and you're not entirely wrong. But I mean, for me, it's the story more than anything, and just I'm a sucker for post-apocalyptic survival games anyway. And the fact that this actually happened right before COVID hit, and it's a game where you play a courier where you have to deliver packages to people, in some cases life-saving packages, because everyone has to stay inside. Kojima fucking called it in an uncomfortable way. I got the director's cut of the game for myself for Christmas last year because Epic Game Store was giving away the base game, and you could upgrade to the director's cut for $5. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm getting myself the director's cut. Still cried like a fucking baby at the end of it. And it's like I already played the version for PlayStation, but then the PC version came out and I got that. And I'm like, okay, I've been through it once. I think I'll be okay. No, I still ugly cried at the end of that game. But when I saw the trailer for Death Stranding 2, I'm surprised I didn't set off the neighbor's car alarm by how loud I squeaked. Even Ty's like looking at me going, the fuck? Are you okay? What happened? Oh my god. Those were his exact words oh my god, no. That I mean it had to do with like it dealt with aspects of string theory and multiverses, and I'm just fascinated by that shit, honestly. I've wasted so many hours of my life listening to documentaries about those very topics.
Yeah, for like 3 days, I was like super heartbroken by the ending of The Walking Dead, and the of the game.
I've heard it's pretty sad. I've
It
heard it's
is.
pretty sad. I've never played through the whole thing. I need to.
The first two games are really good. The third game is like super mediocre, and like the fourth game is, I'd say, personally mediocre, but a lot of people like it too. So
Part of the reason that Death Stranding got me so much, and without going to spoilers or going to too many details, there were aspects of the ending that personally resonated with me on a very deep level. So I think that's one of the main reasons it affected me so much. It kind of like, when I was, I mentioned this earlier, but it kind of reminded me of when I was like 8 and got to the end of Link's Awakening and just that ending and the realization that came with it. You know what? Actually, fuck it. I'm going to spoil it. So at the end of the game, this entire time, you've been on this island, you've been going around, you've been helping these people, you've become friends with some of these characters, and the whole thing is you're trying to wake the windfish so that you can go home. You finally get to the windfish at the end, and you are told that if you wake him up, yes, you will get to go home, but all the friends you've made throughout the entire game will cease to exist. Because the entire island, all of this, is part of the windfish's dream. So if you wake him up, everything, the island, the friends you've made, the dungeons you've spent hours of your life going through, will all cease to exist. And for 8-year-old me, that was mind blowing.
have you played
And
the?
the ending of
God.
sorry, the ending of Death Stranding kind of hit me in a very similar way. It was like, wow. Like I had to sit and think about it for a few days.
Yeah, another game I got like super emotionally invested into was Life is Strange. Actually, the first one I really, really thoroughly enjoyed, and I thought actually felt like the True Colors game was actually really good too, like the third one they made.
Tell me why it was actually made by the same people.
Which what game was?
The game I was talking about earlier that has the main character being a trans man.
Oh,
That was actually made by the same people.
yeah, I've seen their game on the Games Pass. I've played it for like 2 seconds, I think, but I didn't actually like get super into it. There was a time where I was like super into those kind of games, like super into like those interactive movie type games. Road
Hmm
96 was really good too.
I have heard good things about that.
Yeah, I'd
I've never
honestly
actually looked into it.
Road 96 was like a shocking. So I this was on my like to playlist forever, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be
Hmm
so dumb. It's gonna be so dumb. Why? Like, because like I didn't hear anything about it, and all I saw was like, oh, it's like a sign with Road 96 on it. That's literally the only thing I know about the game, and that it's an interactive movie. And I'm like,
hmm
okay, you know what? I'll give it a shot. And like one day I did, and I'm like, holy fuck. Like this is actually like a super deep like narrative, and it's
I'll have to
it's
look
really
into
well done.
this.
It's a very different kind of game. It's definitely not the kind of it's not like any game I've ever really played before. It's like elements of
You
different
said
games.
Road 96, right?
Yeah, Road 96. It's very much like it's not just one story. It's like a dozen different stories that you play, but they're all
It's on
connected.
sale for $7 on Steam. It's on sale for $7 on Steam.
It's also on the Games Pass too, I think, if you have that. Or it used to be. I
I
don't know.
haven't
That
seen it,
was
but
two
I'll have
years
to
ago.
look.
It's like a year ago, a year and a half ago, maybe.
I'm looking. I have it in a tab on my browser, so I'll look more into it later.
Did you attend a GamerGate meetup?
No, actually, yeah. I hosted one. It was the one in Atlanta, and it was where Jordan Owen actually premiered the Sarkeesian effect. I remember because Deus, who is another, I don't talk to him as much as I used to, and I hate that, but he was another friend that I made through GamerGate. He actually came from the UK to America, and I remember he actually was sitting next to me and kind of nodded off because it was like 4 a.m. British time,
That's
and his
awesome. You
body was. And
you organized this?
yeah, we didn't have a whole crap ton of people showed up, but you know what? It was still fun. I still talk to Jordan sometimes. Actually, he's a guitarist in a local band.
How was the documentary? Or did we not talk about that?
It would have been better if Davis Arini had nothing to do with it. I'm not going to go into detail, but all I'm going to say is the way that Davis treated Jordan behind the scenes. It made me very, very, very heavily dislike the guy.
Did you know that somebody's apparently making a GamerGate documentary?
Oh my god, are you serious?
I've been in touch with the guy
Oh
actually.
my
He sent
god.
me his stuff. I've only seen part of it so far. So far from what I've seen, it actually seems kind of good. But I've only seen like the first like 30 minutes, so and it's like 6 hours.
6
But
hours?
I can't share it with anybody because he sent it to me in private.
If that guy
I don't know if
is
it's six.
reading
It might be
this,
like 5 hours. I don't want to like put bad juju
if
out there.
if this
But
if this guy is reading this, oh my god, you poor bastard.
no, it's so far from what I've seen, it actually looks good. But I've only seen the first 30
No,
minutes, so bear with
just
me here.
putting all of
I shouldn't
just
talk
putting
about
all
this.
of this.
I shouldn't talk about this. Because I
Okay, okay.
because
All I'm gonna
I
say
have a
is
I have a
the
private
reason
pre-release copy. Um, but
the reason I say you poor
I can't share
bastard
it, of course. I can't. But
is is having to dig through all of the various shit that happened during Gamergate. Oh my god, I was part of it, and I don't want to dig through all that shit. So,
you know, you remember when I was considering the encyclopedia, Lisa?
oh god,
Thank God I didn't do that. Oh my God.
I am
This
so glad you
project
didn't do that.
for for you readers, this project was almost an encyclopedia instead of a book of interviews, where I was going to like
N-
do all the research on everything that happened in GG and put it in a book. And I'm like, yeah, no, fuck that. That's gonna take 30 years.
I think it was. I think the first person I heard about that from was Nurgle, and he said it off stream because we will hang out for a little bit off, in a call before he starts the stream. He's like, "Oh yeah, I heard he's making an encyclopedia," and I'm just like, "Oh, God,
May God help him.
why?" I'm like, "Why?" I don't know.
No, I don't want to spend the next several years of my life on this. I want to spend the next like couple months of my life dedicated to this. Did doing the interviews, and then maybe like I can edit on my own time and break the transcripts down into like normal, like good book
Yeah,
speak rather than like verbiage speak. But it's
yeah,
it's it's mostly gonna be completely unedited. Like aside from like getting rid of like the meta comments about the stream itself and stuff.
yeah. No, I think an edited version would probably, have the strong points or the main points all neat and packaged together, make it easier to read.
When I think that the conversational style that I've approached with this, like it's clearly like an interview, but it's an interview with like some clear conversation, and not just like answering questions.
Right.
But I do like that
I think
style.
some of the I think some of the conversational bits could, help it seem a lot less, I guess a little bit more open, a little more human, for lack of a better phrase.
All right, we're nearing the end. I know you've talked about Vivian James. You're doing artwork.
Yep.
Do you have any thoughts on anything related to GamerGate art projects, which you yourself have contributed to?
Um, I was willing to voice her for a series that Carbine was working on.
Oh
I
my
was
gosh, I
because I
completely forgot about this. He mentioned this idea to me like right at the very end, right before I left like all this stuff behind. He mentioned this idea to me.
yep.
I completely blanked. I'm sorry, I cut you off. Oh my gosh.
Oh no, you're fine. Not that I was gonna get because I do a bit of hobbyist voice acting mostly. And I was thinking something kind of like Raven from Teen Titans in a way, but like I don't know, more tired, more just done with everyone's bullshit. And then for Lillian, I think was her name.
The
Um,
anti-GG avatar.
yes,
Yeah.
I was thinking something more like kind of rich, snobby bitch type of thing. You know, like head up her own ass so far that it's a miracle that she can't see what all she's eaten for like the past month. And so, you know, that that was the thing that was going to happen. I think I still have the audio recording somewhere in a Google Drive. I
Oh my
think I could
gosh.
be wrong.
Well, there were so many cool projects. A lot of which were like, painting stuff like that. But then there was also plenty of
The Flash game.
the Flash, several Flash games. Remember there was like this Project Sock Just one they were working on, and it looked like really fucking
Yep.
good. Kite Tails was the voice actress, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I remember
Or
that.
actually, I think voice actor is the preferred term now, right? For
Mm,
gender
I
neutral or
prefer. I don't care either or.
okay,
I don't care personally. I think it's personal preference.
okay. But oh my gosh, yeah, Carbine, like right before I like kind of like moved on from this space,
Mm-hmm.
Carbine, because Carbine and was talking about this project, and I was like, oh, that's actually really interesting. But like I was like
Yep.
already like burned out so bad, um,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to move. Just do politics stuff, criticize the alt right, do an alt right debate arc where I take on the far right fascists and like and destroy their ideas
Right.
because I think that they're harmful to society.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, absolutely.
and then like I heard nothing of the project ever since. So you actually started working on it, you and him.
I did some voice work. I think it was because there was another one that he was that he was talking about more recently that he wanted me to voice Vivian on was a video game that I think Game Designer was going to be working on, but eventually we just like, you know what, nah. But yeah, the animated series I think is what it was.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh,
I
dude,
was actually kind of looking forward to that, honestly. I
when
was
I
kind of looking forward to that at the time. It's like, I'm not really involved with GamerGate anymore, but yeah, this seems like an interesting project.
is it too late to make happen?
Mm, I think so, personally. Back then, maybe not, but now, we're coming up on 10 years.
Yeah. I guess I'll talk with Carbine because when I'm interviewing him, I'll have to remember to bring this question up. If I forget, please be in the chat and be like, talk about the project.
I'll try
GamerGate the
if I'm not
animated
too busy.
series.
Yep.
But you know what? I bet. Oh, dude, am I partially because he? Am I partially responsible for this project not happening? Because like I didn't.
I don't think
I was
so.
like one of the last major people left, and like I didn't like
I
fully
don't think so.
wholeheartedly back him and support him on this. I mean, I thought it was a good
Nah.
idea, but I didn't. I was already like kind of burned out, and I was like, okay, I'm kind of want to get with my real life stuff, you know. I was
I
like,
think life might have gotten in the way because, like, I was I was pretty active in it too. Like I said, I was actually kind of looking forward to it, but talk about it just kind of vanished.
well, there were so many
So I'm
projects
like,
that
"Oh,
people never finished, like the animated series. This is so great. I can't believe I didn't know you were actually. I think I do remember you were a part of this. I think he told me or you told me back in the day, but
I might have mentioned. I know I mentioned it to Nurgle at one point, so you could have heard about it through the grapevine.
yeah. But then like the Project Sock Just game. Then there were like so many people who were gonna write books that never did, like Brad Glasgow.
Yep. Oh God, I remember that name.
Well, I mean, I don't think he's a bad guy or anything. He's just, I don't know why he
Oh
didn't. He actually did some like legit work. Like he actually did like the study, the survey. I don't know why he
no.
never did the
Yeah.
book though. I'm in talks with him, so I probably shouldn't like talk too much shit because I might be interviewing him in like a couple weeks. But
No, I didn't say that to mean,
no, I
in a
didn't
way of
either.
talking shit. Or like, oh God, I haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to talk shit either. I just, but it's interesting. So many people are like, oh, I'm gonna do this thing, and then they don't do it. and I don't want to be that
Yeah.
kind of person. I mean, I guess I kind of already am. Some people might see me that way because I did do a book already on GamerGate, and I'm doing a second one.
Well, I
But
mean,
remember,
the thing is, I
oh,
think for all the drop projects, I think for a lot of people, it's like, you know, yeah, it sounds like a good idea, but when you don't realize how much work it actually is and how many moving cogs you have to make sure are in place for it to actually come off. And then once they realize it, it's like, oh, okay, maybe not.
well, I think the only project I never finished with GamerGate, to my knowledge, maybe someone's gonna correct me and be like, "Well, what about that thing you mentioned possibly doing?" You know, but the only thing that I actually like seriously started and like did as a project was that failed. I think like horribly was the GamerGate Investigatory Commission. Do you remember this?
It rings a bell.
It was kind of a controversial idea at the time, but it was we're gonna get a bunch of people together, pro and anti
I
GamerGate,
remember.
and we're
Yeah,
going to create a history. It's going to be a commission with pro GamerGate, anti GamerGate people, maybe a couple neutral people on there, and we're gonna put out a real narrative that both sides can agree
I
on this. It
remember
was like a
this.
bring
And
everybody together, but I mismanaged it
okay,
like crazy. Well, not I made a couple
okay.
key decisions that fucked up everything. I mean, yeah,
No,
but
no offense when I say this. When I first heard about it, I rolled my eyes. Like, yeah, good luck with that.
well, yeah, no anti GamerGate people would do it except the one anti GamerGate person who would do it was well, actually, Seattle for Truth, who, who I don't think represents like the mainstream anti-GamerGate perspective,
Oh,
like
he's
even
in
remotely.
jail, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't know if he was ever found guilty or not, but like he was
I
accused
think he
of.
was. Um, Hang on, let me check.
We better get this right for the.
Yes, let's make sure we've got this right. Hang on a second. I
His
know
real
he
name
was
is Lane
accused of.
Davis, so I'm not doxing him.
Yeah,
Like he's
I'm
public with
just
his real name.
no, I'm just gonna go ahead and look up his screen name because he was charged in 2017. There's a Southern Poverty Law Center article about him.
Oh, he was sentenced after pleading guilty. Okay, he
Yep,
took a plea
he was
deal.
sentenced to 17 years. 17 years, so he's in jail right now.
Yeah, but obviously he doesn't represent. Like he was pro GamerGate, and then he decided he wanted to become
Switch
anti
on.
GamerGate, and then he was like the. I think there might have been one other anti GG person, so I don't want to say for sure, but we were supposed to have three pro, three anti, and like three neutral. I think it was. I don't remember the exact breakdown, but like, it was a serious thing. The guy took it very seriously, but I didn't. The problem was I was using like polls to try and determine because people voted for who they wanted to be on the commission, right? So
Hmm.
people would vote for who they wanted to be on it. So the GamerGate people voted for three people who were nominated or nominated themselves, and then the anti-GamerGate people, like he was like it was like him and maybe one other person, maybe, but there
Hmm.
were three slots, so he was automatically guaranteed on. And I'm like, oh fuck, dude, this is gonna fuck up the whole thing. I knew that at the time, but I'm like, well, look, I can't rig the election, right? Like it's the rules are the rules. I have to let him on, and I think
Right.
that destroyed the credibility of the commission. I should have just put my foot down and said, look, I
Yeah.
don't care. This is obvious. You're obviously not representing. If it was you and two other anti-GamerGate people who were like social justice anti-GamerGate people and not anti-GamerGate from like a right-wing perspective, like maybe that'd be fine.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, no,
Yeah.
that decision destroyed it.
I just remember when he got arrested. I got on Twitter one day and everyone's like, "Holy shit!" I've got people in my DMs going, "Holy shit, Lisa, did you hear what happened to Seattle for Truth?" No, he got arrested. Oh God, for what? He stabbed his dad. He fucking what?
Yeah. So, but yeah. Anyway, I probably that's like the only project that failed. I think, like outright completely failed that I did, and that was, or actually maybe the only failure that's like a of a project that I've worked on that failed. But I learned a lot from it, and I feel like I wouldn't make the same mistakes that I made back then now. Um, and also, I think part of the problem with the commission too was that on the website, I should have laid out more clear instructions for how I wanted the commission to operate. As the chairperson of the commission, I was like a more of a neutral figure on it, like just helping with research mostly, I guess. I don't remember my exact capacity actually. This was a very short-lived project, but I should have laid out more what I wanted the commission to do and made that more clear. Because I feel like I
Right.
had this grandiose vision, but then actually implementing that into practice, like okay, I need us. We're doing research. I'd be like, okay, let's do research on this particular aspect of GamerGate, and we'll come to a consensus on what both pro GamerGate and anti GamerGate people both agree is the truth here. Like that's a good idea.
Mm.
I think in theory there's like a lot of value in that. There
It's
could
a good
be,
idea.
but it's also
I think it's a good
I roll
idea, but
idea, I
it's
guess
just
too. But
well, my thing was it wasn't the idea so much of itself that made me roll my eyes. It was the idea of, yeah, considering how volatile these two groups of people could be towards each other, yeah, good luck.
yeah, unfortunately it didn't work out. I think it could have been useful, but I
It
feel like
could
I
have.
made some key mistakes, and the buck stops with me. I was the chairperson, you know.
I think part of the reason why you've gotten some anti-GG people willing to come and talk to you now is because so much time has passed. And I think with the passage of time, maybe distancing yourself away from it a little bit, it gives a fresh perspective or an alternate perspective.
Well, I wish more anti-GG people would talk to me, but us
Yeah.
actually, all three of the anti-GamerGate people that I'm interviewing so far, all three of them are people who I built connections with back then. So they know I'm a good
That's
person.
cool.
They know I approach this in good
Right.
faith, or I try to. So it's like that
Right.
personal connection is what helped
It
bring them
helps.
on board.
It helps. Yeah.